Hello friends, so today I'm going to talk about building piano voicings, jazz piano voicings from first principles. So you might hear or see a transcription or something looks kind of like this. Right? And you're thinking, well, how can I do that? How can I make sense of it all? So that's the impression I have when I first start working with students wanting to do jazz. So the first thing to know, I have a bunch of exercises on this, is finding the third and the seventh of the chord. So if you just take the third and seventh, so the tune I was just playing was Have You Met Miss Jones? So the third and the seventh. So root, we're going to be an F, third, seventh. Okay, or third and seventh. So be able to flip back and forth. So either the third on bottom or the third on top. Okay, and then after that you can add notes that sound good. So what sounds good? So the fifth, you could add the fifth in. You can add the ninth in. You can't really add the 11th. You have to be really careful. Doesn't sound so good. So you can keep adding things and then you rearrange them, but still keep track of that third and seventh. The third and seventh is like the very core thing of that chord that makes it sound good. Now, eventually maybe you can kind of break that and you can still maintain that sound, but that's a good rule to follow at the beginning. You're going to keep track of that third and seventh. Third and seventh, and you can add other notes. The fifth or the sixth. Okay. The other thing to making voicing sound good is how you transition from chord to chord. So one pretty sound by itself doesn't make very, interesting music. It's how you lead one sound to the next. So here, going to B flat dominant. Right? So the mistake people have at the beginning is learning not to jump around, right? Right, it's kind of skippy. So how do we transition from this F chord to this B flat dominant chord? So again, if you keep track of that third and seventh. Third, seventh. Okay? Third, seventh. You're going to have to flip up here. So we went from, right, so here, if you add those extra notes, you just have to keep track of them a little bit and make sure that they sound good with the next chord. If that works. Or, a little spicier, keep that E. Now that's the sharp 11. So that's kind of the art of what we call voice leading, is how we lead from one chord to the next. But the core of it is keeping track of that third and seventh. See right there? These are just pretty notes, the C, E, and G. And then to the third, the A chord. So at the beginning, this is going to take a little bit of brain power, right? You're going to have to kind of work this out. So the very first step, obviously, is third and seventh, and then start adding notes and try to transition. Keep that note. So if you've got 4 notes in the right hand, see if you can keep 4 notes in the right hand. So I'm just doing bass, root, and then 4 notes up here. Third and seventh. Okay, 4 notes again. Third and seventh. Then I need 4 notes again. Right, third and seventh's right here. Third, seventh of A. These are just pretty notes. I want a 4-note voicing. That works. So some of it's just knowing these shapes really well. Like, oh, it's a dominant chord, and I want something that's close to the shape where I'm already at. Something like that. Okay, so yeah, that's the first step. Third and seventh, add notes, and I know it's kind of loose. The rule. So that's the struggle. So listen a lot, transcribe, try to figure out what people are doing, but that's generally where I start. Is can I get the third and seventh of the chord and then add things to it and then try to maintain that as I go from chord to chord. Now, that's what we call rooted voicings, right? It's kind of hard to do a piano solo over that, because the left hand's busy doing this bass note. That's like the bass player's job. Or even if you're just doing solo piano, sometimes you want to free up the right hand to be playing stuff. Right? You want to be noodling around and playing melody. So, you can think about the same thing. You just kind of have to do now 2 jobs in the left hand so you can free up the right hand. So what I'm thinking about is still third and seventh. Start here. Third and seventh. So just practice third and seventh in the left hand without the root. So that's where it kind of becomes a mind bend. Because you were doing that, and this third and seventh kind of becomes rooted because you're playing that bass note. Now you need to just do that without playing that bottom note there. Yep, B flat dominant. That's how it would look. So it doesn't sound like much. It sounds kind of weird. But when you add stuff and you add it in context, it's going to make a lot more sense. So, da 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 da, right? Ya da 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 ya da 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 da. Okay, is that making more sense? Add notes just like you did before. Add those notes there. Da 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 da. So that's what you hear people doing. And again, I'm keeping track of that third and seventh. I could slow it down here for you. See that right here? Okay, here. Seventh, third. Third, seventh. So it's hard to convince people to do these exercises. I have another video on this. This circle of fifths or 2-5-1 patterns, things like that. That kind of stuff, right? Okay, so I have whole videos on all kinds of combinations, just dominant chords, 2-5-1s, that kind of thing, just doing root, third and seventh, and then left hand, third and seventh. But those skills there build you up to playing actual tunes. So maybe tackle the tune, and then when you get stuck, you just need to realize how much you need to master those skills. So there's some ways of thinking about voicings, rootless voicings, and how to approach these sounds on the piano. So happy practicing.